One thing I always thought was a bit unfortunate about your guys' career was, first of all, because you never won the World Cyber Games qualifier, because that like loops in, it was always Team 3D who won it. Your team actually very rarely travelled abroad, though. I mean, to be fair, at the time, a lot of NA teams did just wait for the CPLs, etc. And so as a result, there wasn't any real like big trips to Europe for the events, etc. So the only time, and this is the story I want to talk about now, was when you went to the famous World Esports Games, this tournament in South Korea, where this is the downside. You never really got to experience like the European events, because those were like CPLs, you go there for 3 or 4 days, you just try and be good on those days, you try not to let jet lag get you and you go home. It's a normal tournament. The problem with this tournament, which is why I wanted to bring it up, is because it was an experimental approach where if it was more like actually comparable to something like what esports is like now, where a tournament can last weeks and weeks. And the whole point of this tournament was it was on television in Korea. So you didn't also, unlike a CPL, well, I'll give you the best example is when you said before that one of the rival or gamer core lineups early on dropped into the low bracket at CPL and had to do an epic run. If you went back and looked, an epic run in the CPL would take 2 days. You just play like 8 matches or whatever. In this format, you used to play like 1 match and it would be like TV day, and then like another maybe 2 days later, you play the next match, then maybe a week later, you play the match after. So I always thought, for me, it's no wonder the results were up and down in this tournament, because no one had ever played this kind of format. It was like a totally new way to play Counter-Strike. And on top of that, you don't just go meet your teammate and play for 3 or 4 days. You had to stay for like a month in Korea, and you're in the chalets with each other. And again, if this is in the era like I'm talking about, where you know your teammates online mostly, and then you boot camp with them. Now it's like you're just living with them. They're just there every day. And I have to say, based on the stories I heard, mate, it sounds like your team was one of the ones where this environment was the worst ever. It seems like it almost killed the team, right? Give me some thoughts. It doesn't seem like your team could handle living together, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, when you're living with someone or people, in close quarters, it wasn't like, we're in like some big house, it's just like kind of like, I mean, the first WEG, it was these little like kind of cabin things, and we had our whole team in like, it was like a 2-bedroom, but with like bunk beds. It looked good on paper, and then like you go and you're just like living with these people, and it's not that like I have any sort of like, resentment for any of the people, but I think you just kind of like get annoyed by people and the way they live, and like, how they carry themselves on a day-to-day basis, and you're like, what the heck, and then, you practice, because we had like little practice rooms or PCs, and practice, doesn't go well. It's not like you can go do something to get your mind off of it like you would if you're practicing online or whatnot. You're just still stuck, and you're like having that anger, the animosity of just like losing a scrim or whatnot, and just being like not wanting to play with each other at that moment. You need a break, but you can't go take a break because you're stuck inside this little area. So it was kind of like, you weren't really given much of a way to like kind of cool down or like get away for a little bit, especially in the first WEG. The first WEG, we were just kind of in the middle of nowhere. So, and like you said, that format where you're going to the television studio, you're playing your match, and it's just that one match, and at that point, it's like, well, whether or not that match went well or not, you're staying there all day waiting for the other matches, and then you get bussed back, and it's just like it was a lot different compared to playing in a tournament. We're playing games back to back, and you're fresh, you're ready to go. So it was definitely an interesting experience. And during that time, we had it was us and NOA, I believe, and we both had the same manager. Right. And I don't know if you know that drama, but I think that manager himself was.
I remember it was implied he stole the money, right? That was what people said, at least, right?
Yeah. I mean, he definitely did that, and he just also was just a very toxic person in general. Where I think he kind of manipulated, kind of did a lot of puppeteering behind the scenes to cause more problems for our team, especially.
In what sense are you talking about?
Kind of pitting people against each other, so it is what it is, but there's no hard feelings between all the teammates. I think we all we love each other, we care about each other, we talk occasionally still. There's nothing but love there. the only person I think I haven't been able to get a hold of in a long time, and I hope he sees this and reaches out, is Exodus. So hopefully we hear from him soon. And if anyone knows his whereabouts, tell him to hit us up.
Certainly, yeah. People don't know one of the friendliest players from the West Coast, certainly. I mean, as I said, put it this way, the others were all just talking shit. I mean, you were. Everyone was just talking shit to me at the time. He's probably one of the only nice guys who actually was trying to reach out and all that. Want to see more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, be a pleb and don't.